Clark Gable is an internationally known film actor who made a success during Hollywood's golden age. He stars in iconic films and is viewed as a legendary actor in cinema's history. From a hard life as a child to his growing career and ultimate success, Clark Gable is a beloved American icon and has been dubbed the title the King of Hollywood. William Clark Gable was born on February 1st, 1901, in the small town of Cadiz, Ohio. He was named after his father, William Henry Gable, an oil well digger and agriculture worker, but throughout his life he had always been known as Clark. Early in Gable's infancy, his mother Adeline Gable died, leaving behind a father and son. Soon after, in 1903, William Gable remarried Jenny Dunlap and relocated to the town of Hopedale, Ohio. At a young age, Jenny Dunlap raised Clark to be a well-dressed gentleman who was skilled in the arts. In 1917, after running into financial trouble, William Gable insisted that the family move to Ravenna, Ohio, to focus on the agricultural lifestyle. Refusing to work as a farmer, Clark left Ravenna, dropping out of high school to live in Akron, Ohio, and make his own living. He worked at the B.F. Goodrich tire factory when his stepmother passed away and his father had moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to go back to his oil well digging lifestyle. Soon after, Clark worked many side jobs, also finding work in theater companies. He traveled across the Midwest until he made it to Portland, Oregon, where he met Josephine Dillon. Dillon took Clark in and helped him achieve his acting career by paying for his dental repair and undergoing speech therapy, teaching him to speak with better technique. In 1924, Dillon moved to Hollywood to begin Clark's film career as his manager, and on December 12, 1924, she took the role as Clark's first wife. As time went on after their marriage, Clark worked as an extra in various silent films such as Forbidden Paradise, De Classe, The Merry Widow, The Johnstown Flood, and more. Although gaining many roles as an extra for films, Gable was not offered large roles in motion pictures. So he turned to his theatrical roots and began performing with the Laskin Brothers Stock Company in Houston, Texas. While in Houston, he gained experience and played the part of many roles in theater, being known as a local matinee idol. With his gain in experience and the help of his wife, Gable set off for New York, where he played a role in Sophie Treadwell's Machinal, receiving good reviews. When the Great Depression hit, theater plays began to cancel their season, creating a large unemployment rate for actors. In response, Gable moved back to Los Angeles to continue his acting career, where he played the role of Killer Mears in The Last Mile. After his astonishing performance, he was offered a contract through the MGM Media Company, giving him his first role in a sound picture as Rance Brett in Howard Higgins' The Painted Desert.
Well? Who's this Holbrook you're talking about?
You never heard of him,
Miss, I'm from Montana. I'm headed New Mexico way. What was your name in Montana? Brett. Same as here. I'm headed New Mexico way. At least I was. Well, I had a horse. Seems like I'd stepped into something here, mister.
With Gable's rise in the film industry, Josephine and Clark decided to file for divorce on April 1st, 1930, ending their 6-year marriage. Soon after the divorce, Gable remarried to a Texas socialite named Maria Rhea Franklin Prentice Lucas Langham, marking his second marriage. Clark Gable continued working with MGM, playing many supporting roles in films such as The Secret Six, Night Nurse, A Free Soul, and working with leading women such as Greta Garbo and Susan Lennox, Her Fall and Rise, and Joan Crawford in Dance Fools Dance, Laughing Sinners, and a steamy performance together in Possessed, triggering an affair that almost destroyed Hollywood. In response to Crawford and Gable, Louis B. Mayer made it known to the two that if the affair continued, their contracts with MGM would be terminated. They kept their distance to avoid their termination. It wasn't until Gable's performance with Jean Harlow in Red Dust that MGM and Hollywood noticed the rising duo, screening them in films together such as Hold Your Man, China Seas, Wife vs. Secretary, and Saratoga, Harlow's last production when she died during filming on June 7, 1937. In 1934, Gable paired with Claudette Colbert in Frank Capra's It Happened One Night. The film received amazing reviews and went on to win the Academy Award for Best Picture and also giving Gable and Colbert the Academy Award for Best Actor and Best Actress. After Gable's title, he continued his progress at MGM as a successful actor, receiving another Academy Award nomination for his work in Mutiny on the Bounty in 1935. In 1939, Clark went on to star in one of his most famous roles in motion picture history. Originally reluctant to play the role, Gable gave in and played the iconic role of Rhett Butler in Selznick's production Gone with the Wind, receiving an Oscar nomination for Best Actor, while the film went on to receive 10 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. On March 7, 1939, after Gable's success in Gone with the Wind, Rhea Langham and Clark Gable divorced, breaking off their 8-year marriage. Soon after, Gable married the love of his life, actress Carole Lombard. After filming No Man of Her Own, Gable and Lombard became acquaintances, and it wasn't until 1936 that the two were reunited at a party and began their romance. On March 29, 1939, the two eloped together to Arizona and married. On January 16, 1942, tragedy struck. Carole Lombard was flying over Nevada when her plane had crashed into a mountain, killing Lombard and 21 other passengers, including her mother. With Gable's devastating loss, he went on to film Somewhere I'll Find You, his last film before he pursued Lombard's request on enlisting for the war effort. Gable enlisted into the U.S. Air Force as an aerial gunner. After World War II, Gable resigned from the Air Force and went on to perform in his first post-World War II film, Adventure, with the tagline, "Gable's back and Garson's got him." After his role in Adventure, Gable continued working with MGM even during Louis B. Mayer's resignation and the studio's drop in revenue. He starred in films such as The Hucksters, Never Let Me Go, and Mogambo, all the while continuing an affair with Sylvia Ashley, whom he was wedded to for only 3 years. In 1953, Gable did not sign back onto MGM Studios and began work independently, making only minor success with his films Soldier of Fortune and The Tall Men. Shortly after, in 1955, Gable went on to marry his fifth wife, Kay Williams, whom he was married to until his death. Gable, although battling a diminishing acting career, went on to complete his final film, The Misfits, co-starring another Hollywood legend, Marilyn Monroe. After the film was released, it was noted as one of Gable's best performances. Soon after filming The Misfits, Clark Gable suffered from a massive heart attack and died on November 16, 1960. Rumors spread that it was the film to blame for Gable's death, having been too demanding on him. Clark Gable was laid to rest next to the love of his life, Carole Lombard, at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. Even after death, Clark Gable is known worldwide as a Hollywood icon, and his films live on today. Though coming from a small town and rough lifestyle, Gable grew to become one of the most interesting men in U.S. film history, being dubbed the King of Hollywood.